You found it. Your home for the best content on your favorite team, the Fighting Tigers of LSU. Do us a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Leave your comments below. And be sure to smash that like button. LSU, for the 8th time, the national champions of college baseball, second time in 4 years under Jay Johnson, who's good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Coach, our congratulations. Thank you sincerely for the time. How are you doing today?
Exactly how you'd expect. I'm doing awesome.
I figured as much.
Very proud of our team.
Coach, I know you're just inundated. I'm sincerely grateful whenever you do take time to come on, and especially on a day like this. So sincerely, thank you. 2 years ago, you did the same thing. You came on the show the day after you won it. You kind of relayed a story about maybe sneaking into Charles Schwab Field and sitting in the dugout and just taking it all in. Was there a similar visit today?
Oh, yeah. Even better one. Actually, and the reason is I actually got some sleep last night because it was a day game where last time it was a night game. So, yeah, woke up at 6, just put my walking shoes on, walked over to the ballpark, and snuck in through the loading dock and right into the first base dugout and out onto the field. And just kind of my deal, just time for some gratitude for being the coach at LSU, these players, our fans, and really wanted to give them a massive hat tip. It was awesome in the post-game celebration. They're playing our winning song in that big stadium, and the whole crowd singing along with it. It's like it doesn't get any better than that.
What is the first quiet moment like? Whenever and wherever that is.
Yeah, the best one is going back to the hotel, and you're in the midst of chaos, which, as you know, when LSU wins a championship, the fans can bring and create chaos, the best kind you could possibly dream about. But then it's like, hey, we have to talk as a team, and then we kind of snuck back into the meeting room, and I just told them what it meant to me, and it wouldn't have changed how I felt about them in terms of whether we won these last 2 games or not. But you know the deal. If you win it, you go down as forever. And I felt like these guys were worthy of that with how they handled this entire season. And I really wanted them to have that. And I wanted them to know that they accomplished that. And that was awesome. And then just getting back up to my room and, somebody put the trophy on my table I just stared at. And I was like, kind of sweet, man. It's pretty awesome.
When you experience it for the first time 2 years ago, and I would imagine there was sort of a lifetime of, man, I wonder how that's going to feel, and then you feel it. And now you do it for a second time. How does it compare or contrast?
Yeah, they were very different, I will be honest. We were up 18-4 on Florida in the 9th inning, and it didn't hit me even that we were going to win it until Jordan Thompson made an unbelievable play for the first out in the 9th, and then I just got flooded with emotion, we did it. We're going to do it. And, I had the one experience where we were a base hit away in 2016 at Arizona, and we didn't win and lost 2 one-run games in the finals. And so it was also a personal, 7-year journey back to that game and that time. And it was super emotional at the end of that one. And then this one, a little bit different. The tying run was at the plate. I got 2 guys fired in the bullpen. The top of their order, the leadoff hitter was on deck, and I'm thinking, okay, if I make the move, where am I going to make the move? Is the defense set? Have we adjusted because Chase Shores is on the mound? I'm looking at the signal of what pitch we're calling. And then we turn a double play, and we're national champions. So it was kind of it was 2 completely different experiences in the moment. And then, the time on the field immediately after the game is special, and it was awesome. And you're just looking around, and I'm looking at Chris Stanfield in the face, and Luis Hernandez and Danny Dickinson and the guys that have been here for 3 years. Even Gavin Guidry didn't throw a pitch, but Chase Shores, Jared Jones. I mean, it was the best. It's the best days of my life is what I would say are the best times of my life, getting to do that, and just a lot of gratitude for this team and 2 completely different experiences of how to win it, and it was almost awesome that it was so different.
I could literally ask you about every player, and I know you would give a story and an anecdote. We don't have time for that here, obviously. The time will come for that. But I do want to ask you about Dickinson because you disclosed after the game that he has a broken hamate bone, which is insane, by the way. Can you please give us some context on how that happened and the decision that he made to play through that, which, again, everyone in this who loves this program, Jay, knows because this was the Warren Morris injury. Like, this is insane that he played the postseason with a broken hand.
Yeah, amazing, actually. I've had two players do this, and one of them got hurt in the 5th week of the season and never returned the entire season, and this dude broke it in the game. He hit 2 home runs, by the way, against Little Rock, and never missed a game. He didn't say anything about it the next day, the 12-0 win against Dallas Baptist. And the next morning, the game we lost to Little Rock, he came in. It's like, my hand's broken. It really, really hurts. But as long as you think I'm better than whatever the next option is, I will give you everything that I have. And we manipulated some things amazingly to where nobody knew. You know, we hit him down in the order, and I kept kind of creeping him down. And I'm sure the coaches were like going, "Thank you, like this is a really good hitter. You're bumping all the way down to the 8 hole." We bunted where we could, and maybe the biggest base hit of the tournament was the bunt single in the first game against Arkansas, with first and second one out, and somehow he found a way to get 5 hits in 5 games in Omaha. And that's all toughness. I mean, he's awesome. Like, when I think about the types of guys I want in LSU baseball uniform, like Danny Dickens right at the front of that.
It explains so much about the last month. Like, when we finally get that info. I mean, just yesterday, bunting him in the 4th before Braswell came up in that spot. It was just an interesting, but it makes so much sense with context. Jay Johnson's with us. I'm not going to take much more of your time, Coach. I know it's busy. But you've also talked about, and you did it in one of your post-game press conferences. The games run together in Omaha, as I'm sure they do for you too. But you talked about this team's like sort of ability to not get too high, too low, overcome adversity. I forget the exact word you used. But you also mentioned in your post-game press conference that, like, I think you pointed out Kendall Rogers when they had you like preseason number 3, and you're like, are you sure? At some point in the season, you had to know, like, they had it, and it was going to work and be really good. Is there a point where you can identify when you knew this team had whatever that is?
Yeah, it's actually earlier than maybe you would think. So we lost game 2 of a 3-game series to Omaha. And it was a doubleheader because we moved it up to be a doubleheader because we were getting rain the next day. And I walked in and I said something to them like, "Hey, you know, one of the best players I ever coached," he said something to me. He said, you'll know what you have after you lose the first game in terms of how they respond. And I kind of threw that challenge on the team. And from that loss, we won 17 games in a row. And did it in rather convincing fashion in most games. We did it in comeback fashion. We had so many guys contributing to it. I would say probably during that time, this team built an immense amount of confidence. And whenever it got hard, so to speak, they just seemed to get a little harder and found their way through. And, you know, you take a lot of pride when you win close games. And this is one of the best teams I've ever coached at winning close games.
Why? Last thing for you. I know you've said this so many times, like you wouldn't leave this job for the Yankees. Why do you love this job so much?
You know, I think it's twofold. You know, we can recruit the caliber of player that I can legitimately help them achieve their dream of being a major league player. And if you do that with enough guys, it manifests itself into you getting an opportunity to live your dream, which, you know, was to play in Omaha. And been fortunate now to do that 4 times and 2 times here. And the 2 times here, we have 2 national championships. And, you know, it's kind of like at this time in my life, like that's the place I want to be, like my spot in the world. And just very grateful and thankful. And the other part I would say is the care level of so many people about what you do, at least in college baseball, it only exists at LSU. I mean, I had one of my best friends is in a similar position in sports media, like to you have. He's been in San Diego. He's in Chicago now. And he would always call college baseball a channel changer as far as you guys. Well, it's not in Baton Rouge. And I'm really thankful for that. because I do think what we do is important. We got great players that are better people, and they deserve the support. Everybody's always going to get behind LSU. This 2025 team was a team that definitely warranted and deserved that support, and I'm super proud of them for that.
You've embraced an exponential expectation, and somehow you've matched or continue to surpass it. Congratulations again. I know what today is like, so sincerely thank you for the 10 minutes you gave us.
You got it. Thanks, Matt.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.